In part 9 of our crash course, we are going to be taking a look at a bad use of AI, a mediocre use of AI, and a good use of AI. So without further ado, let's get started. If I was an uninformed high school student, and maybe I hadn't watched this mini-series yet, then I might think that ChatGPT out of the box is going to give me fantastic advice. So I might do something like, hey ChatGPT, can you please give me advice on my college application essay? And I would paste it in. For context, the essay that I've pasted in is a real essay written by a student that applied this past admission cycle, and I've gotten permission to use it in this demo. So we can press send. And I'm going to get what appears to be a fantastic response. It's telling me the strengths, the areas for improvement, but again, things sound plausible, but I have no clue if it's actually accurate in the advice it's giving me. And even worse yet, it's trying to rewrite my essay, which as we know, A, does not work well, and B, is also against university AI policies. So we don't want to use any of that. Now let's move on to a mediocre use of AI. So let's refresh the page, and let's pretend I watched the mini-series and I decided, well, it's fine. It's okay if I get some advice that I'm not entirely sure about. Regardless, I just want to use AI. As we know, we should at least go talk to our guidance counselor. So let's pretend I went to talk to my guidance counselor, and she told me, well, a good essay involves using an authentic voice and showing, not telling. Then I would at minimum go ask ChatGPT, and I would tell it, my guidance counselor told me a good college application essay needs to have 1, an authentic voice, and 2, showing, not telling. Please grade my essay based on that rubric. And then once again, I paste the essay. Now, in this case, the feedback I'm going to get will be slightly better than what I would otherwise get if I hadn't actually told ChatGPT what to look for. But nonetheless, we aren't really going to know if the recommendations for improvement and the types of feedback that ChatGPT is giving is actually good. We don't know how much it was able to isolate itself to just focus on authentic voice and showing, not telling, compared to how much of the original type of training that ChatGPT got that is present in this feedback. And so you can use this to effectively adapt your essay, but again, some of it will be good, but also some of it will be misleading, and it will be hard to tell which is which. So let's take a look at an alternative. And honestly, this is the reason that I built Athena in the first place. So if we go to the Athena platform, we can instantly log in, and immediately we can see on my applications page where you can look at all the universities that you are planning on applying to and add new ones right here. The additional nice thing is in here, we ask you 10 quick questions which are optional, and you can put in background about yourself. And Athena is going to incorporate that to give you personalized feedback based on who you are and what your personality is. So this is really, really powerful and something that is hard to do with ChatGPT. Now let's look at the Common App tab. Since we were just looking at a common application essay, let's take a look at if we were to use Athena for feedback. So this is actually the same college application essay that we were just looking at, but let's say it wasn't there. If I wasn't sure where to start, I could just hit the brainstorm button. And what the brainstorm button is going to do is it's going to generate some brainstorming tips for me about where I might be able to start based on the background that I submitted. So as we can see, it's already done, and it tells us that I could talk about my experience in speech and debate, or my internships, or my cultural background. And so I can take a look at where I might be able to start, and I get some help with AI brainstorming, and this model has been trained on thousands of essays that actually worked. Next, if I actually have a partially written draft, I could also try progress check. Now what progress check will do is it will give me paragraph by paragraph tips based on what I already have. And once again, this is based on thousands of essays that actually worked. So this should be loading soon, usually takes between 5 to 10 seconds. And there I see an overall understanding of my essay, as well as a couple tips. Now, we won't go in depth, but you can kind of understand the type of feedback you might get. Now let's pretend I'm fairly confident that I am approximately done with my process, and I know I have a good essay that I'm proud of. Well, the real firepower and superpower is packed into this grade button. This is going to give me a detailed report card on how well my essay performs based on thousands of other essays that have worked. And so what we did is we looked at these requirements and these patterns that were present in all successful essays. In this case, there would be common application essays. So the feedback that you would be getting for a common application essay is very, very different compared to what you might get for a supplemental essay to Yale, which is very, very different from what you might get for a supplemental essay to MIT, let's say. So this level of specificity at a university level is again something that ChatGPT doesn't have, that our models have learned over the course of looking at so many successful college applications. So this process takes a little bit longer, usually close to 30 seconds, It's already done. And as we can see, you're going to start with an overall grade. We'll give you a quick synopsis of how well your essay did, and then these were the requirements that I was talking about. So these patterns that were present in all successful college application essays, and as we can see for common application essays, the very first requirement that your essay is graded against is whether or not you were able to establish an emotional connection with the reader. Are you actually able to get the admissions officer to root for you? Because if you are, then it bodes very well for your admissions chances. And so in this case, we can see the essay got a subgrade of a B. There's an explanation of why that happened, and then also because the subgrade is low, where improvement is needed. Now, there are other requirements that common application essays are graded against on the Athena platform. They are maturity of thought. So again, this was present in all of the successful common app essays that we saw. And also a pleasurable read with a satisfying ending, whether or not it actually achieved that. And also a couple others, like whether the voice sounds authentic, and also whether you're telling a story and there's narrative cohesion. The next part is techniques you may want to consider, and this is really powerful. In the thousands of essays that we saw, the same couple hundred techniques repeatedly occurred that students were using to really get their essays to hit the mark. So what our models do is we will take a look at those several hundred techniques and figure out, among those, which are the top 3 that best mesh with what you already have in your essay and what is going to help you take it to the next level. And we suggest those to you right here. And so in this case, we see anecdotes that show empathy or a good heart and connecting to future aspirations. Finally, we do a check for red flags, and then we also give you recommended next steps. So overall, in this platform, we have a lot of university-specific advice, and we've taken the time to retrain and reteach AI models how to give good college application essay feedback and brainstorming advice. And this really helps students get a leg up in the college admissions process. And once again, you can try it for free getting started on the site today.